Hi, my name is Anna Kihos, and I'm going to walk you through my presentation of reading satisfaction through socialization, a study of reading motivation. So, my project basically is about making students more interested in reading. I know that reading is not enjoyable to some. Some people find it enjoyable, that reading might lose out to other fun activities, that reading doesn't get much love. Nonetheless, whether students choose reading for themselves, I think that everyone is capable of picking up books and becoming a reader. So the problem is that students are becoming very much resistant to the idea of reading. And every year, less and less students are coming into the classroom wanting to read. So to tackle this problem, I've decided to try a couple different social activities so that students get talking about books, see each other enjoying books, and maybe that will influence them to kind of see reading as fun and want to pick up books. So a lot of the research I looked at has to do with socialization and reading motivation. According to socialization theory, people can learn habits, norms, and values from the people around them. The people who have the most influence on someone like a student would be someone like family members, teachers, and peers. And because we're looking at a classroom setting and being able to manipulate things that happen in the classroom, teachers and peers are going to have the most influence for students when it comes to reading. Meanwhile, there's motivation research. So motivation research states that students will partake in an activity if they find that activity fun or enjoyable. Therefore, to make reading fun, you have to offer students reading choices that they will enjoy. So that means learning about the books, genres, authors, even topics that they're interested in. If you find out what makes students want to read, what makes them tick, you could use that knowledge to create activities that introduce reading as fun, as enjoyable, and just in general to create readers. So my research has to do with using social literary activities, so social activities, to increase a student's satisfaction with reading, to increase student enjoyment of reading, to basically use social activities to make them more interested in books and reading. So there's two data tools that I used in this project, the MRQ and the MRP. The Motivation for Reading questionnaire basically tells me what factors influence students to read. These factors include reading efficacy, reading curiosity, reading challenge, reading enjoyment, the importance of reading, and reading for social reasons. Meanwhile, the MRP, the Motivation to Read profile, basically tells me a student's self-concept when it comes to reading and whether students value reading. So there were 3 activities I had students kind of engage in: book talks, speed dating with books, and silent reading. With book talks, students talked about their favorite book, and basically they're to sell their book in a fun, enjoyable way to get people interested in reading that book. So basically introducing students to a book that they've never heard about before. Speed dating with books. Students pick up books that they've never read or never had the intention of reading. This is how they might find a book that maybe they've overlooked. And silent reading, to give students time to read in the class, to enjoy the books that they've picked out, to enjoy the books that they've already been reading. So based on the MRQ, I found out that the factors that influence students to read the most was reading for enjoyment. Meanwhile, the one that influenced them the least was reading for social reasons. By the end of the study, my activities were able to show that motivation increased. Students found reading more important at the end, and students were reading for social reasons more. The MRQ also showed that students weren't really discussing what they were reading with their peers or their family, and students weren't participating in activities in the home, such as going to the library, reading to siblings. Meanwhile, the MRP showed that these activities were able to help a student's self-concept grow, and students' feeling toward the value of reading also grew in the process. So by the end of the study, students were more motivated because they considered themselves better readers, more able to read, and they were able to value reading a bit more. So what I learned that as a teacher that I should basically give students choices that they are interested in. Give them the books that they want to read. That if I give them these choices that they want to read, that's going to motivate them to pick up books. And I also learned that small changes in the environment can possibly affect reading, that I shouldn't be afraid to experiment. What I learned about students. I learned that students will pick up books if for their own reasons, for enjoyment, if they find the activity enjoyable. And that they will be most interested in reading when they read for themselves and when they read texts that they are interested in. I also learned that students are not really getting support from the social agents around them, such as their social peers and their parents. So I think that classroom support plus outside influence, such as parent influence or social peers, should work on top of classroom support to get students becoming interested in reading. So, in order to do future research, I would like to see what happens if the study was conducted for longer periods of time. And the second thing I'm interested in is the role of parents and maybe parenting behaviors. So, if students get exposed to reading from their parents, and if parents did more for their children, such as exposing them to books at an early age, will that create readers? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my project, and I hope you view my slides. Thank you.